Hello, happy Wednesday, everybody. So happy to be here chatting with you guys. Hopefully the week is going swell so far, and I'm sure a lot of your kids are starting school. My oldest started high school on Monday. And my younger one is starting 7th grade tomorrow. So it's been a busy week here. So I had posted, and this is the first time I did this, asking for questions about fat loss. And so I'm not sure if it was seen or not, but so I'm going to save, because nobody commented any questions, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have questions about fat loss, so I don't think it's that you don't have the questions. I think maybe it just wasn't seen. So if you have questions, find that post and drop the questions in there, because next week I will go through those questions and answer whatever burning questions you have regarding fat loss. So today though, I decided to chat about a different topic, and we're going to talk about, you probably haven't heard this term, unless you have read the book that it's coming from, but I have a feeling that once I explain what it is, that you'll be like, oh yeah, that's me. So I'm going to talk about the food police today, and it's a term that was in a book called Intuitive Eating, which is a great read. It's a big book, but it gives a lot of awesome information on how really to, because if you've watched any of my lives or any of my Kickstarts, you know that I don't believe in diets. And intuitive eating is a lot of the reasoning behind why I don't believe in diets. So great read if you have some extra time and you're interested in all things healthy eating. So anyways, what the food police are those voices in your head that either when you're about to eat something, start piping up and talking about how you shouldn't eat that. That food's off limits. That food's not good for you. Shouldn't be eating that, okay? Or they might do that and you might listen to them and not eat the particular food that they're chiding you on. Or sometimes you ignore them and you do eat, or maybe they don't pipe up and you do eat whatever food it is. And then they pipe up and they start telling you that, you ruined your diet. You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have eaten that food. Why did you do that? Those guilt feelings that sometimes we get. Or you ate too much. Why did you eat such a big portion? Why didn't you just eat half of what was on your plate? So let me know if you have the food police in your head ever. I know I for sure did all of the time for years and years and years, and I'm still working on it. I mean, this is not repairing your relationship with food is not something that you can do quickly, right? It's a long process, but I am working on getting rid of the food police, and I think I've done a pretty good job of it. But I spent years and years and years just constantly thinking about food, constantly worrying about what am I going to have? So I just had breakfast. Now, what am I going to have for lunch? Okay. And just spending a lot of time, thinking, okay, is this a good option? Is that a good option? And back when I was teaching, oops, am I still alive? Okay, I guess I am. My internet has gone so bad. I used to have Wow, and then Wow got bought out by Astound, I guess. And ever since it turned into Astound, it's been horrible. So I apologize if this video is not coming through well. Hopefully it's okay now. Just that I lost my connection. But anyways, I spent years and years allowing the food police to really control my life, because every meal I had to really think about. And I would, at breakfast time, I'd be thinking about dinner already, just to make sure that I had enough calories in my day and that I was eating the right things, okay, quote unquote, right things, right? And that's kind of what the food police make us believe, is that there are good foods and there are bad foods, and you should only be eating the good foods, right? And that's really not true, okay? Foods are neutral, and I talk a lot about neutral thoughts when we talk about limiting beliefs, but foods are neutral too. And yes, some foods are healthier for your body than others, but we don't want to allow the foods to have power over us. Because as soon as they have power over us, then they run the show, right? And then food is no longer enjoyable, okay? I used to hate going out to dinner because I would always worry about, what am I going to be able to eat on that menu? How am I going to tell the waiter? I mean, I remember going out for breakfast, and breakfast is like by far my most favorite meal to go out for. And I remember worrying like, okay, so if I tell them to cook the eggs without butter, are they actually going to do it? And if they don't, will I know? And am I going to be eating all these extra calories that I hadn't planned for? And I would have anxiety about whether or not my eggs were being cooked in butter. And it wasn't fun to go out to any meal anymore because of that. So through a process of realizing, I think the first step is realizing that you have those thoughts and that they're not thoughts that are going to help you. Okay, they're detrimental thoughts, right? So once you realize that you do have that food police and they are kind of taking over your actions when it comes to foods, first step is just recognizing it, right? And once you recognize it, then you can pay attention to the thoughts. And once you have, and this is true for so many aspects of your life with things that are, when your thoughts take over, when anxiety takes over, being aware of the thoughts and then kind of stopping yourself during that thought and saying, okay, is this true? Okay, is my diet really going to be ruined? Am I going to gain 50 pounds just because my eggs were cooked in butter? Okay, so kind of bringing yourself back to reality, because when we let the foods take over and we give them all that control, we're not really like living in reality, right? We're just allowing, those thoughts to take over and anxiety to ensue. So my ask of you for this next week is just to start paying attention to the thoughts that you are having when you're sitting down for a meal, when you've finished a meal. And are those thoughts detrimental to you? Is it the food police talking to you? Is the food police berating you for going out for ice cream after the first day of school with your kids? Okay. Or is and the food police can be sneaky too, though, because if you go out for ice cream with your kids but you don't get any ice cream, and then the food police is saying, yay, good job, you were so good, you didn't get that ice cream. So that's kind of their sneaky way of sneaking in and not allowing you to realize that that's actually a negative thought, right? Because a scoop of ice cream with your kids is enjoyable, and it should be, and it should not be off limits. So essentially, getting rid of the food police and allowing all foods, okay, not letting any foods be off limits is, number one, super freeing. And number two, there's the dog. Probably Amazon guy coming to drop off a box because he does not like when that happens. And I just lost my train of thought. Oh my goodness. Totally lost my train of thought there. Food police, getting rid of those negative thoughts. Oh, allowing foods to be enjoyed. Because food is, yes, for nourishment. We need food to live, right? But food is also for enjoyment, okay? Any culture you can think of, they have specific foods that they use, during celebrations, or that they eat during celebrations, right? Food is for celebrating and enjoying. So try not to allow yourself to feel bad for doing that. Okay, so if you are enjoying an ice cream cone with your children, that's not a bad thing. Okay, the only time it gets bad is if you do that 5 times a day, every single day. Okay, so just giving yourself that grace and freeing yourself up from food. Okay, not letting food have that control over you. And as soon as I was able to do that, I mean, it really was life-changing, because now when friends asked me to go out to dinner, I wasn't automatically starting to get anxious because, well, there goes my diet, right? I was able to understand that, yeah, I should go out with my friends. I should enjoy a meal. I can be mindful about it and I don't have to go crazy at that meal, but I should be able to choose anything off that menu that I would like. Okay. And that's what I teach my clients, that really any food can fit into your daily life. Okay. As long as, you know, you're conscious of how much you're eating, right? So hopefully this makes sense. Let me know if there's any questions about it, but really it's just step number 1 is recognizing that you have the food police talking to you, okay? And spending the next week or so just kind of paying attention to those thoughts. And then when you notice one of those thoughts, one of those detrimental thoughts around food, stopping and determining whether that thought is true or if you're telling yourself a story, right? So give that a try. I would love to hear how that goes for you. I'd love to hear, you know, if it helps you. And that's just the first step. And that first step can take several weeks to months to really kind of gain control of. And then eventually we get to the point where we realize that no foods are off limits. Foods are neutral. They're neither good nor they're bad. Okay. So let me know how that sits with you. And also, if you have any questions around fat loss, drop them in. You can drop them in these comments, or you can find the thread, the post that I made, I think yesterday, asking for questions about fat loss. And I will answer those questions next Wednesday. All right. So have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Good luck to all of your kiddos going back to school. Hope it's a wonderful school year for everybody. And I'll chat with you guys later. Bye-bye.